Hello. Today I want to talk to you about one of the things that always comes up with my clients is the fact that, generally speaking, parents don't know how to handle their children's big emotions when their children are angry, when their children are frustrated, when their children are going through difficulties, when their children don't want to go to school. Usually it happens to the little ones when they suddenly stop, they decide that they don't want to go to school. Or teenagers, suddenly when they become, not suddenly, but when they become a little bit more detached and they spend more time on screen and away from the family, more time in their bedrooms. When your child tells you, you try to tell them something, they don't listen to you, and they tell you, "Go away, I hate you." When they say all sorts of things, that really hurts. I know that parents really feel disappointed, and it really hurts them when their children tell them things like when they have meltdowns and when they say, I don't like you, I wish I had a different parent, go away, or all sorts of big emotions. So when children are going through, teenagers, I always refer to children, but teenagers are also children for me. So because they haven't yet developed the emotional, they don't yet have the maturity to be able to handle their emotions, because one of the reasons is that because their brain is not yet fully developed, especially that part of the brain where the empathy part, that part of the brain for teenagers to understand what you're feeling, to put themselves in your shoes, that part of their brain is not fully developed yet. That's why sometimes parents say, but my child is so selfish. My child doesn't understand what the difficulties he or she is putting me in. So when your children are having meltdowns, and or when they're having tantrums, and tantrums doesn't mean that only little kids experience tantrums, adults experience tantrums too. But what it means is that it's different things. When adults are experiencing tantrums, it's a little bit different. They are not on the floor banging, their foot on the floor, or shouting or yelling. But adults show it in different ways, through outbursts, through irritation, through being really impatient, yelling. These are all different types of tantrums, but they are tantrums. So what happens is the fact that when adults are behaving or acting like that, it means that they haven't really developed the right skills to manage their big emotions. Usually, when people are acting, reacting, and it happens to all of us, but if it's something that is happening continuously, it means that you haven't really developed skills, certain skills to handle your big emotions of dissatisfaction, anger, disappointments, rejection. There are so many feelings that we go through, and different people cope with it differently. But we don't want this for our kids. We want our children to learn how to handle their big emotions. But in order for our children to handle and learn how to handle their big emotions, it means us parents, we have to know how to deal with it. One of the first things that I talk to parents, and especially parents that go through my coaching mentoring program, one of the first things that we talk about is the big emotions. What does it mean? Because when we were growing up, we were never encouraged to express our anger. Whenever we expressed our anger, there was always, it's either or when we were expressing our dissatisfaction or when we were misbehaving. What was the way that generally parents handle is either through punishment or through suppressing them, not allowing them to express their big emotions. So we have to look at emotions differently. Okay, emotions, especially negative emotions. I don't like calling it negative because all emotions are emotions, and all emotions are a big part of us. It's just a matter of having a different perspective for emotions. It's very important to develop a different understanding for emotions, what they are, why they there, and what we can do about it. So when your kids are going through a difficult emotions, tantrums, shouting, yelling, leave me alone, you don't understand, nobody understands, go away, I don't like you. Oh, so many things that you parents complain about. We cannot we cannot mirror their behavior. We cannot get angry when they're getting angry. We need to understand what does it mean for them. What does it mean for them? Because when when our kids are expressing big emotions, it means that they are going through something. Yeah, there is a frustration. I mean, even little kids like babies, 4 or 5 months, suddenly you see them, they cry, they cry, they cry, they cry, and nothing can stop them. Nothing for them to stop, to stop them from crying. And why is that happening? It's happening maybe because it's either they're hungry or they need a nappy change, but also because maybe they are overly stimulated. Sometimes we underestimate what kids go through. For example, they may be in an environment such as a mall or an outside environment, a restaurant or any place that there is a lot of music or there is a lot of people talking, and it's a little bit too much for little babies. So they get stimulated. So and they start crying. But knowledge is key for parents to understand what's going on, because through knowledge you will be able to understand, you will be able to develop a deeper understanding of your children's needs. You will be able to respond to your children's needs. When your child is throwing a temper tantrum, when your teenager is telling you go away, I know you might be taking it personally, I know it hurts you. I remember the first time that I went through it, my daughter was 2.5 years old. And when she started shouting, I don't like you, go away. And she was only 2.5 years old. I was so confused. I didn't understand what was happening. Of course, I took it personally. Of course, I internalized it. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I should be doing something wrong. Why am my child is saying these things? But after years of research and after years of working with clients and knowledge and coaching and books, I understand that those big emotions are there for a reason. And we have two choices. It's either we mirror our children, they get angry, we get angry, we get it personally, we get into an argument that leads nowhere, or we understand and we develop a deeper understanding of how children's brain work. Because just like you, when you get angry for no reason, you may snap out, you may say something, and then you might feel guilty afterwards. Nobody can come to you at that moment to put sense in your brain. You know what? You're not doing this. Why should you do it? You will not understand, because your nervous system works differently, is activated differently. Logic doesn't work. So it's the same thing with kids. When you understand how their brain works, when you understand to identify their unmet needs and you meet them, and it's not a rocket science, there's so much knowledge out there. That's why we're here. That's our job, to teach you how to handle those big emotions. Then you will be able to to establish that deep connection with your kids. Then you will be able to have that at home, peaceful atmosphere at home. Then you will be able to find solutions fast. Then you will be able to resolve issues without, escalating things. Then you will be able to empower yourself. Then you will be able to really, really learn how to handle those big emotions when your children are expressing it. Because when you when you don't deal with those big emotions, it means that the gap grows. The gap of your child's unmet needs grows. And what happens to you? You start feeling disconnected, totally confused, because you don't know what you're doing wrong. You are not doing anything wrong. Most probably, you are not doing anything wrong. The only thing that you need to learn is how to handle those big emotions. And in order for you to understand how to handle these big emotions, first of all, you need to learn what big emotions mean. Big emotions are there for a reason. They're just on the surface. Underlying it all, there is a certain emotion, frustration that has got nothing to do with you, that has got to do with your child. And when you understand, acknowledge, validate what your child is feeling through the tools that I can teach you, and in no time, you will be able to shift things around. You will be able to keep your cool. Your perception, the way you look at your child completely changes. All this happens because now, or when you develop certain skills that has got to do with knowledge, how big emotions function generally in human beings, then everything starts to change in your life. But I want you to think, why is it important though to have this piece of information, and why is it important to learn? It's important to learn because we don't want this the gap of unmet needs to grow in our children, because then it translates to other things when they get older, because the gap always grows. When your child is anxious and you're not dealing with it, you're not trying to deal you're not giving the opportunity for your child to heal from the stress, from the accumulation stress that all children accumulate. Or when your child is trying to, or is angry about something, or frustrated or disappointed, and you're not giving room for them, space to feel what they're feeling without you interrupting, judging, fixing, then you will be able to identify your child's unmet needs. And once you identify your child's unmet needs, you will be able also to support your child's unmet needs. It comes down to knowledge. It comes down to you giving the time to learn, to understand, to connect, because I know what you want. You want a good relationship with your kids. You want your kids to be happy. You want your kids to be resilient. You want to be there for your kids. You want to be the best version of yourself as a parent. I know exactly what you want, but then you are facing a few difficulties at home. So there are two types of parents. One type of parent knows what the issues are with their kids, or at home, or whatever issues, difficulties that they have or they face, and they don't choose to do anything about it. They just complain, just complain, 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 and their mindset is not into finding what is happening really. It's just a state of confusion, troubleshooting, and still it's not working. And there are other types of parents that they still have issues, because issues are always there. Um, our kids, we cannot be in control all the time with what's happening with our kids. They are growing, their needs are growing, their environment is changing, a lot of things are changing. So these types of parents are more proactive. They are more proactive because they want to understand. They are not just complaining about things. They are not just confused about things, but they also want to learn how to de-escalate things with their kids. They also want to learn how to deepen their connection with their kids. They also want to understand what is really happening in their children's brain. So what they do, they take courageous actions. They take a decision to learn, study, to develop parenting skills, to hire a coach, to hire a mentor, to learn, because that's the only way where you can really develop a deep understanding of what is happening with your kids, how to identify their unmet needs, and how to support their unmet needs, so that while they're growing up, you know that you are proactive, you have a good connection, good communication, you know exactly what's happening, and you know that your kids are close to you. and you know that you understand how to handle big emotions. And when that happens, everything starts shifting. And this is how children grow, and this is how the relationship grows. Now, you might be saying, but I'm a teenager. It's all my kid is already a teenager and it's too late. I should have done this long time ago. The answer to that is no. It is never, ever, it is never too late. You can always shift things around. You can always establish a better relationship and a better communication with your kids. It is never too late. It is never too late. But you might be thinking, but how? I don't have time. I'm a working parent. I don't have time. I don't have time to give time to learn or to study or to take part in a coaching program. So I want you to ask yourself this. You don't have time. You don't have time. You make time for something, anything that is important for you. You make time 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week, everybody has time for 1 hour a week. We change your perspective, change your mindset towards, okay, I want this, I need this, this is really going to help me. How can I make time for this? How can I make time for this? And you will see that your mindset will take you there. Your mindset will find time, an hour a week, to be able to do that. The other thing you might be thinking, yes, I have all these difficulties, or I have these some issues with my kids, but I don't know how to proceed. You don't need to know how. You just need to know why you want something, why you want the change, why you want the shift. You want it because you want to feel satisfied, fulfilled, content as a parent. You want to live your life without feeling guilty that I should have done this, I shouldn't have yelled, I should have said this. You don't want that for yourself, because that's really, really damaging. You also don't want to create damage to your children's confidence, self-worth, passing on insecurities. You want to make sure that you're doing whatever it takes for you to be there for your kids, because children are growing so fast. It's not like we have all the time in the world. And and as I said, that there is never it's always a good time. It's always a good time. It's never too late. That is why I want to invite you to my upcoming masterclass on 3 secrets to identifying your child's unmet needs. Come to my masterclass. It's free. I'm doing it because I love doing what I'm doing, and I want to share my knowledge with you. And I really want to help parents, because I know what parenting is. I work and empower parents, specifically working parents, to to I to really understand their kids, to really understand how to respond to their children's needs rather than react, to find a balance between home and work by developing a strong mindset and emotional resilience, to parent effectively and with compassion, because compassion is the key. We need continuously grow our compassion for our children, because if without compassion, then we won't be able to parent effectively. So if all this resonates with you, please come to my masterclass that is going to take place on the 19th of October at 7 o'clock Eastern European time. There will be a Zoom registration. You need to register to Zoom to be able to get access to the meeting link. And also, when you come to my master class, towards the end, I want to talk to you about my mentoring program for parents that is starting very soon. And come there, and I would like to talk to you more about my mentoring program, and for you to see how I can best support you. This is Arlette Shohmelian. I'm a mindset parent coach and my background is in psychology. Thank you.